I picked up the last copy of Stone Walls and River Music, which is a compilation of some extremely entertaining and insightful columns of Bob's. I don't know what essay is not the correct word for this.
It's, well, very short essays. They're like 50.
Short essay?
Yeah. You know, that's part of my, I guess that's not a challenge, it's a challenge. I get 54 lines, that's it. Whatever I write about, I gotta squeeze in the 54 lines. And so I guess mini essays is a good way to put it, yeah.
Mini essays.
Yeah. It's pretty eclectic.
It's very eclectic.
Yeah.
I don't, for someone who hasn't read your work, it would be a little difficult to describe the range of your
Yeah.
interest. I asked someone this morning how they would describe your writing, and they said that you were kind, practical, funny.
Confused? That didn't come up?
No, confusion didn't.
Well, that's nice. That does mean a lot to me to hear that, because
But anyway, this was the last copy.
I'll
So
go
I
talk to
think-
Michael and get some more in
I
there.
think I got the last copy in Louisville, and then Bob's book Double Jeopardy was sold out totally.
Yeah.
This book, for anyone that isn't aware, has to do with the Brenda Schaefer murder a number of years ago.
It's been 12 years, believe it or not.
Oh wow!
Brenda was murdered in September 1988. And it's still going on. Ignato is still walking the streets of Louisville right now. So,
Oh really?
yeah, he's out and awaiting possible trial on another perjury charge, but he's been free for a couple of years while they appeal this process. So it's been a 12-year saga, at least, with the Schaefer families have to live through all this time. And they're wonderful people, and they're still dealing with this man, and they're still dealing with the story because there's been no closure to it.
Uh-huh.
None?
Yeah, it's, I don't know why, but I can't help but think of this other situation that was just in the paper a couple of days ago. What's her name?
Oh, yeah, the woman who was murdered in Boulder County.
Yeah.
Deshawn.
Deshawn, Jessica.
Yeah, there was no closure there either.
Jessica Deshawn, just.
There are similarities because Brenda's body was buried and not found for like 18 months after she was disappeared. And then, of course, they found the body and they charged Ignato and he was acquitted. And then after the acquittal, they find the evidence that he murdered her. But because of double jeopardy statutes, well, constitutional law, really, he can't be tried for that murder, even though they know he did. They got the evidence that he did it. They can't try him.
It was 18 months.
The body was in the ground, until they found the body.
I had no idea about that. I thought it was just a month or something.
Well, Ignato's accomplice, a woman named Mary Ann Shore, finally confessed she knew where the body was 18 months after the murder. And goodness, the trial was in 1991, and he was acquitted, I think in 91 or 92. And then...
And you went to New York and were on the Hiraldo show?
You had to bring that up.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
Can't leave out Hiraldo.
Yeah, good news, bad news. I got to shake the great man's hand. Yeah, I was down there for... It was really an experience, and not necessarily a good one. We were led to believe one thing, that two of the Schaefer brothers now are up there. We were led to believe that the story would be about them and pretty much about us, and done with some sanity and dignity. And they get up there and they find out it's a train wreck of people who have had similar things happen in their family. And there's this whole lineup of people with these horrible stories to tell. And we were just kind of part of the process, which...
Did anything come out of the Hiraldo show in particular?
A lot of friends gave me a hard time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's actually been on. It's been on Dateline twice, full hour.
Oh yeah.
Then A&E channel, Bill Curtis did a full hour on it.
Uh-huh.
So it's been on national TV for a full hour.
I'm surprised they haven't turn this into a film script.
Well, oddly enough, there's been a film called Double Jeopardy, it just came out about a year or so ago. It's not
totally
this,
different.
yeah, it's not this book.
But on this particular.
Well, there's been a
have you
half a
ever
dozen-
considered turn it into a screenplay?
I haven't, there's been a half a dozen people who called me up over the years breathlessly wanting to do it, from Hollywood, and Louisville natives who are in Hollywood or some connection in Hollywood, and then nothing comes of it. I don't know what the problem is, because it's an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
Maybe the fact it's not over.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
Oh, yeah.
type
You
of-
couldn't-
type of
You couldn't invent that. You could not invent that. So maybe it would, but the Double Jeopardy, it's funny, I went to my high school reunion here a couple weeks ago, and some classmates of mine rented the film thinking it was my book. Of course it wasn't, so I tell them I loved the book, hated the movie. Had nothing to do with me.
Let's go on for a minute, and also I want to mention this. Now this is a new book, isn't it?
Yeah, it just come out April and May this year.
This is Crack of the Bat, the Louisville Slugger story.
Yeah.
And with the opening of our new Slugger field, this is a very timely book to come forth. Can you summarize a little bit of it?
Yeah, basically it's a fun book to do. I just love doing it. I love baseball.
It has lots of great pictures.
Yeah, there's never been a book in the history of the Louisville Slugger baseball bat. It's the biggest
Yeah,
icon in baseball.
Yeah.
It has been for a long time.
Yeah.
And anyway, I spent about a year and a half doing that with some people here in Louisville. International Marketing Concepts were the ones that actually produced it. But it's a history of the Louisville Slugger baseball bat and the evolution of the Hilrich family. But there's also a lot of baseball history in there about how the game has evolved, how bats have changed from they used to use. They'd cut tree limbs out of trees and lay them down as old-fashioned hand lays, and how the first bats were made in Louisville, and how the Hilrich family, after 5 generations, is still running the company, which in this day and age is phenomenal to maintain that kind of stability, family name in a company. But it was just a joy to do. I got to talk to Ted Williams and Tony Gwynn and Derek Jeter, and I'm not into hero worship at all. Very few people at all, but that was just fun. My dad always talked about Ted Williams, and the book's dedicated to my dad because that's kind of when my baseball love began. He played catch at night, right out of Field of Dreams. And he talked about Mr. Williams. It was never Ted. It was always Mr. Williams to my dad. So I had to talk to Mr. Williams for 45 minutes. Kind of connect the dots.
You know, the Louisville Slugger factory is one of the landmarks, for Louisville. People come into the Louisville area.
Yeah, it is now. It was the Jeffersonville Slugger for a while, which was a problem. They went over to Indiana side in '71 and came back here a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's neat. Where else can you go to the museum and watch them make bats at the same time? Make them watch. You get to the end of the tour and you see these bats laying around, going to these famous baseball players. It's really neat. And
then they give away, everyone gets a little miniature bat that the children can all fight and beat each other up with.
And they do. And the book's done really well in the museum, as you'd hope and expect, I guess. But they've gone through 400 or 500 of them just in a few months. So,
oh, really? That's great. Do you think your Double Jeopardy, that you'll turn that into paperback? And
it already is.
Oh, it's already in paperback.
It's done really well between the two. I'm not Stephen King, but it's between 80 and 90,000 sold between paperback and hardcover. So, and it's still selling. It's still hanging in there after all these years. It's been out for 5 or 6 years and still. It's done well.
What's Mel Ignato and the Shore lady up to now?
I've never met either one.
Did you ever hear
I haven't even talked to them.
An update on their...
Well, I understand Ignato was in town, and people will tell me from time to time they'll see him walking in a particular park, or they'll see him shopping at Myers at 2 o'clock in the morning, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met him or Mary Ann Shore, so I don't know what they're doing, other than the fact that they're out there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
What a story.